Good evening from the airport. It is 2:30 almost, so I'm super tired. But I am going to Vietnam for the Asia Farm Animal Day vegan conference. Super excited. So I had a direct night flight from Dubai to Hanoi, and I had the Emirates vegan menu, which was super yum. And then I arrived in Hanoi early morning time. There was a summit shuttle bus. I was already meeting some people from the summit. Then I got to my hotel. This was my hotel room view, and it was quickly evening time already. Then day one, bright and early, I was connecting with fellow vegans who I met at earlier summits, attending sessions, and we went to a vegan Vietnamese buffet for dinner. Then day two was also a full day where I ended up doing some interviews with some people. How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan for 7 years.
So I've been vegan for 9 years.
It'll be about 10 years.
I've been vegan for about 6-7 years.
I always loved animals growing up, but it was only until I was about 6 or 7 years old when I found out where meat actually came from.
Haven't died yet of protein deficiency.
Longer than I've ever been. I've ran a marathon. I love to hike. Yeah.
I was at school and I was eating a ham sandwich. My friend came up to me and she was like, "Ew, you do realize that ham comes from a pig, right?" And I had no idea, so I threw my sandwich in the bin. I went home, I told my parents, like, I'm going vegetarian, like, what is this?
Do you care to share a bit about the work that you do?
5 years ago now, I co-founded an organization called Fish Welfare Initiative. We work to reduce the suffering of farm fish, so as you can see on my shirt. I understood that fishes, even if I didn't resonate with them, are sentient beings. They have an interest in avoiding pain and living a good life, just like you and me, and that it's unfair, it's unjust how our species treats them. Now we work in India, we also have a small project in China, so the countries that have the biggest amounts of farm fishes in the world. It's going reasonably well. Certainly lots of challenges, but overall going very well, and I'm grateful to get to live out my values in this way.
In Malaysia, the culture is very meat-based, heavy.
When you transitioned to vegan, were there people in your friends and family that were vegan? Were you the only vegan, or how was that?
I was the only vegan. My mom was a bit skeptical because she was worried I won't get enough protein. That's the common thing. But then a few years later, my brother went vegetarian. So that was nice. I have someone in my team.
So my name is Le, and I'm the director and executive producer of Uncover. It's the first Vietnamese docu-series about animal advocacy. The first episode is about human, specifically about human. Kind of explore the PTSD of the haunting memories my protagonist has because she used to slaughter chicken for a living. So I think this issue is quite often overlooked by a lot of people. They don't know the actual price of their food. It's not just the price you pay in the supermarket, but also the price, the emotional price the humans slaughtering your food have to pay. And so this film basically explores the human price of the food. And I think it's important to tell that story.
I'm from Zimbabwe. I know some vegans in my country, less than 5. Less than 5. First, I went vegetarian. I don't know, I just started feeling a lot of guilt every time I'd eat meat. Just one day I woke up and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't deal with feeling guilt. At every single meal, I was like, no, it was taking a mental toll on me. Then I became vegetarian and I was like, I'm amazing, I'm crushing it. Then after about a year, I saw a video on Twitter of these big buff guys crying after watching clips from Dominion, and I was like, they're crying because they eat meat. I'm vegetarian, so I'm not gonna cry. And that's how I discovered the milk industry, the dairy industry, and the egg industry, and what really happens. And I felt like, oh wow, I thought I was doing something, and that's what made me vegan. One of the best decisions I've ever made.
Anything about the ritual slaughter?
The Eid Qurbani or Eid al-Adha is not compulsory, and other ways that you can sacrifice for the sake of Allah is, sacrifice your money, your prized possession, and the whole idea is to give provision to the needy. And I think that's the main idea of Qurbani that people tend to forget. And it's not just about giving meat. And there's a verse in the Quran that says along the lines of the meat doesn't reach Allah, but it's your deeds, basically.
The video you shot, there were chickens being live slaughtered. What was that experience like for you?
It was very emotional, and I don't have a religion, but it was a very spiritual experience, if that makes sense, because we have to put a camera right there when the chicken was still alive, and then we have to keep rolling when he or she like were actually dead. So it was like a lot of like shaking and then screaming and then just silence. And everyone was silent too because we were witnessing the death of a creature. For some reason, I felt like a soul just left the world in that moment. So that's why I felt a bit spiritual about it.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful that you filmed his death and that his death is not, what's the word for it? In vain, I think. Like it was for a reason to share, awareness. So I'm very happy that you created such a beautiful documentary, and I can't wait for more.
Zimbabwean food culture at the moment is very meat-based, like very meat-heavy. Christmas, birthdays, weddings, funerals, like half of the dishes will be meat. But traditionally, culturally, a lot of the dishes don't have meat. So I think as much as people think, oh, this is our heritage, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. If you look at a lot of the dishes that we have, it's not like that.
All right, we're done.
And day 3 was a half day, and we attended the closing ceremony. We took a scooter to go to the city center, take photos at the touristy spots, and I recorded one final interview in the eve before my flight.
So my name is James. I'm the director of Planet Vegan, as well as the co-founder of an organization called Fauna Films, and our goal is to basically lift up the quality of the video and visual media being created by the animal rights movement.
Amazing. So could you share a bit about Planet Vegan?
Planet Vegan is a 5-part documentary series. It's available for free forever on planetvegan.com. It kind of follows the journey of the protagonist, which is me, going through like the normal steps that people take when they start thinking about going vegan. The first episode kind of talks about like meat alternatives and like about like vegetarianism and things like that. And then by the end, in episode 5, I'm like breaking into farms and like rescuing animals and stuff like that with some activists in Australia.
I remember you said something about how the amount of animals that are being farmed in this region versus the amount of animal advocacy. Could you share a little bit more about like that statistic and stuff?
Yeah, so AFA did an amazing report about the funding landscape of animal rights organizations and animal welfare organizations in Asia. And there's this circle on the world map, and it looks tiny. It covers like a bit of China, a bit of India, kind of Indonesia. And it turns out that within that circle, there are more humans and more farmed animals than inside the circle than there are outside the circle, which is absolutely insane. Yet this region has almost no money when it comes to like animal rights, and animal welfare takes almost everything. So actually like animal rights groups and diet change work gets almost nothing.
I'm very happy that you're focusing on this area for diet change and for plant-based awareness, vegan awareness.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, James. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And then it was time to take my flight back home.